Next, set a standard for yourself. This is so critical. The reason I found is if you don't set a standard for yourself and put a bar for yourself, someone else will. It could be your leader, it could actually even be your colleague. And I go lower because I don't want to say your peer, but mostly your colleague that doesn't even know half what you know, but they'll pull you down because you don't have a bar or a standard you set. And so for you to start, my three main nuggets is believe in yourself, start with what you know and set the standard. And by that, what I mean is to put a clarity around it is if you determine that what works for your life now is your shift at work or your time at what you're doing right now while still trying to think of what you want to do next is to go to work 7 to 3. Do not be bogged down when you're heading out, you've done all your work, you've delivered what you've promised based on your role description. You see a colleague sitting there till 5, or you hear from your boss saying, "Oh, I'm here till 6 and you don't show up." No, you have to be sure about yourself enough to set that standard and say, "I only have this amount of time. Here's what I've promised you to work on. I delivered it in the amount of time I need to. I don't need to follow that set rule that you are putting in." It's usually arbitrary, by the way. Everyone knows most of us do 9 to 5s or 7 to 3s or 8 hour shifts with our break in between. So when it comes to something like that, that seems simple. It's like, oh, setting a standard at work. But even in your daily day to day life, you might have a bunch of friends who their Saturday mornings is spent calling you and chatting and yapping, but you're like, I need to be creative in what I want to be. My Saturday morning should be studies or at best resting so I can get ready to study in the afternoon. Well, feel free to set that standard and put that boundary. Because in essence, it's just knowing yourself is where you start. I'll move on and talk about what does success look like because I've realized something very, very clearly in the grand scheme of my short life or long life, however you may look at it, because I don't know your age demographic, is that success looks different for everyone. And Akilax, do you want to say something? Sorry, I just saw you pop up.
No.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, it is fun to see you pop up too, though. I am a yapper, but I just wanted to be sure I was going well. Okay, so for me, one of the things that I realized about defining success was over the course of time, I used to think it looked how people showed it to me. Same thing ties back to standard, right? Well, I didn't set what that looked like. So for a while, and not a short while, I was wavering in, oh, success looks like making it to manager. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, but someone else is senior manager. And just giving you a sampling of my life, right? And then I'm like, oh no, it's making it to partner, but someone else is managing partner. After a while, I realized that, you know what, Shay, what does success look like for you? You need to define that because there's always someone far better at something you think you're great at. There's always someone moving ahead faster or even slower. That those people also give you pressure because they're like, oh my gosh, why am I putting so much on myself? Look at this person, they're not going that fast and they're happier. So you have to define what success look like for yourself, and that's what success is for you. Our successes look differently, attacked differently, and should be measured internally the same way. It all goes back to that internal confidence, internal messaging you give yourself. Be your own best friend when you're defining your own success because you're the best at it. You know yourself. Now, an example of things that I know tag to success is when things go wrong. We all get fearful. We're like, oh, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Or even if it does go wrong, does that mean I'm a failure? Not at all. Failure is an exercise in getting to success. It's not even just a joke, it's the facts. No one can tell you better about being a great teacher or a great professor than a professor who's gone into class and his studies fell flat. And he went back and said, okay, the way I'm teaching this calculus is not working for my students. Or the way I'm teaching this language, it could be a French class, is not working for my students. So I need to redefine it and change it properly. Same thing goes with when you think things will go wrong, even when they're not wrong, your insides feel like they are. And so it's one of those things that you have to really tell yourself, what if it goes right? And I'm not trying to be this motivational speaker, always positive, no, 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 kind of. No, that's not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do here is have you celebrate the fact that it could go right, because it does. It does get right. I have no doubt about it. I have lived through it. I see Akilak's life all the time. He's living it. And he's always it's like from one wrong to right and right and right and wrong. Like it's like almost like sometimes you're like, did anything really go wrong? You forget, because when things go right, it makes it all worth it, because the lessons are so enriched in you that you have no doubt that success looks beautiful. And then, of course, when I think of what success looks like, it looks like starting today. You have to make each moment count. I don't know about you, but this is the youngest we'll ever be. And you cannot get, I'm in Mountain Standard Time, so 6:25 p.m. on April 11, 2024 has come and is going right now. It's gone. That's it. So each moment has to count. And whatever you use that moment to do is what leads you to success. And I know, since time is the one resource that we all can make more of, we need to start today. If there's I know I said earlier, if there's anything that you picked today, and I mentioned it, but I want to say that if there's one encouragement I can give you today, is to start your leadership journey, or do something to empower it today. Not tomorrow, not a moment after today, but this moment. Just because, for the simple reason of the fact that when you do it, it lets you know that, oh, if I've won that moment by moment and each moment has passed, I can win the next. And you look down the line, it's 2 decades and more. And you're like, wow, that was a good journey. So, leaving you with that, I like to say, definitely you define success. Try to stay on the track that, what if it goes right? Yes, we can be a critic and go, what if it goes wrong? Do that exercise, but always come back to, what if it goes right? And give yourself way more reasons on the balance sheet of it going right. So if you're putting in one for if it goes wrong, try to put two for right. Because by the time you see how it's beneficial to be a leader and how it's great to be a successful leader, you'll be like, you know what? Let's run this journey. Let's keep going. And of course, definitely start now. Start today. Make each moment count.